Welcome to the point of view. I'm your host, Mike D, aka DDE80, aka 13 Wonder of the World, aka Mike DZ. Happy Monday to y'all. Happy Monday to everybody. I hope your week is going to start off great and I hope it ends great as well for you. It is Monday, July the 28th, 2025, and it is 10:46 a.m. in the morning. Shout out to the Point Place family. Shout out to Bobby Reeves. I love you, brother. Shout out to M. Breezy, Naya. My sister, I love all y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to the point of view as well. Shout out to Fade Away as well. Gonna do a little point of view. Try to be on here for about 30 minutes and then I'm gonna go ahead and step off because I gotta take me a nap. And excuse my friends, ladies and gentlemen, my sinus is acting up in the summertime. That's kind of crazy, ain't it? But yeah, here's what's cracking today on the point of view. With SummerSlam around the corner, who needs to make the big impact? Also, where is LA Knight on this card? And why is Damian Priest being in a preliminary match before SummerSlam? Again, we will talk more about the Hulk Hogan legacy. And we will also talk about Caitlin Clark's injury as well as Angel Reese's injury. Why two of the big mega stars are out with injuries right now. And how long do you think they're going to be out? But that is also a part of the point of view. Let's get started. So, SummerSlam is this weekend coming up, ladies and gentlemen. For the first time ever in WWE history, we will have a two-night SummerSlam program, which is going to take place this coming Sunday, from the great city of New Jersey, the Meadowlands. Carly B is supposed to be on tap to be a part of as a host of the show. Excuse me, I'm chewing some gum. Let me get ready to spit it out for a minute. Sorry. Okay. Carly B is supposed to be on the show as the a guest host. So she's probably going to interact with either Chelsea Green, which I think is probably going to happen, or Naomi. Either one. With that also being said, do we see her in a match? Probably not. But if we do see her in a match, it's probably going to be something dealing with Chelsea Green. Probably where she gets in there and just play around a little bit in the ring a little bit. That's it. But the first question is, who needs to win at SummerSlam? So the matches are being sought. And I'll talk about the people who I think is left off of the card again. And this is going to be a shock to who I'm going to talk about, who I think is going to be off the card again, unless they put him in some type of big match, some type of gimmick match or something. I do think Naomi needs to win at SummerSlam to keep her title run relevant. I think Jade needs to win at SummerSlam. I think she needs to become the SmackDown Women's World Champion, because I'll tell you why. Tiffany Stratton has been on a tremendous run since she's been champion at the beginning of the year. She's been champion for over 8 months. Long, nice run for her. And I think it's time for her to lose. I think it's time for Tiffy to take a step back and chase the title instead of trying to go for it. I do believe that this is the weekend that Jade does win. Who else do I think needs to win? I think AJ Styles needs to win the Intercontinental title. And a lot of people are saying why he needs to win. Well, because guess what? He's been stale. AJ Styles has been stale ever since fighting in that triple threat match at SummerSlam. I mean, at WrestleMania, excuse me, that Fatal 4-Way. Braun Breaker lost that title. He was the champion. He didn't even win the match. He didn't even get pinned. So, you know, I think AJ needs to win this match because if he's gonna stay around WWE for another year, which they're saying, then he needs to win this title. He needs to have a nice little solid run with it, and then try to put him into the title picture for the world title. I think that if CM Punk, and I will get on him in a minute, if he does not beat Gunther, then we probably will see AJ Styles somewhere in the mix against Gunther. Because what they're doing is they're building Gunther up to take out John Cena. That's why you're seeing him going up against big guys like this. So we'll see what happens with that as well. In fact, Gunther, nobody knows this, but the only crowd that was on SmackDown Friday, Gunther lost a dark match as the World Heavyweight Champion. Yes, it was reported that he lost a match. I don't know who he lost to, but they say he lost a match and got slammed through a table after the dark match on SmackDown. So it's interesting to see, does they bring that to the television audience or just keep it for the crowd? Probably just keep it for the crowd. Just to let the crowd see what it is and all that there. Also, ladies and gentlemen, let me also talk about something else here that is very, very important before I get on to what I'm saying. I do think Seth Rollins could possibly be champion before Sunday night. I think he will be the champion before Raw comes on next Monday on Netflix. I do think he's going to cash in. The only way I see this is going awkward, because they're not going to try to cash in on a guy named Gunther. It could happen, but what sense would that make, Gunther fighting Seth Rollins? They're both heels. Unless you're going to transition him into a babyface after this happens, which could possibly happen, folks. But I just don't know if that's the way you want to go with that. I think WWE's going to stick it to CM Punk again, and I think he's going to win the title, and Seth Rollins cashes in on him. And I think they're going to keep their rivalry going on between Seth and CM Punk and figure out what's next. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other match, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus the Oracle. This would make a lot of sense that if Roman Reigns and Jey Uso won. I think Bronson Reed's going to be the one to take the pin. I don't think Braun Breaker's going to be the one to take the pin. He could. I don't know. This is what I think should happen at SummerSlam. If you want to make some huge noise, you let the Oracle beat the Bloodline. And I'll tell you why. Because it'll put another story together for Roman Reigns. Because think about this. When SummerSlam's over, are we going to see Roman Reigns? We probably won't see Roman Reigns again until Survivor Series. And what's going to happen at Survivor Series? War Games. Every year he's been in War Games. He's been in War Games for the last couple of years. You guys got to remember, excuse me, my sinus is acting up. Took the medicine. I'm waiting for it to kick in. You guys got to remember, Roman Reigns has a Brock Lesnar type contract now, which means he gets to sit at home many times he wants before they call him up with an idea. I think it's time for him to start giving back. Brock Lesnar was starting to do that when he lost to Cody. But after the little harassment charge came against him and Vince McMahon, we haven't seen Brock Lesnar in 2 years. Brock Lesnar has not been on wrestling since SummerSlam of 2023. And the question is WWE going to bring him back? We hear Triple H keep saying, we don't have nothing for him. That's a lie. He's telling the audience that, but inside of the WWE brass, they know that Brock Lesnar has been banned from WWE. You erased his character, his playable character, off of WWE 2K24. You had him only in the story mode. You erased Vince McMahon's character as a playable character, but you put him only in the Road to WrestleMania mode. It's crazy, but it's true. That's why they did it. Brock Lesnar probably not coming back to WWE right now. I think when they do decide to bring him back, he will be back for a retirement match, or they're going to bring him back to put him in the WWE Hall of Fame, because he's going to go to the Hall of Fame regardless of what people say or not. And I know a lot of people wants to cancel everybody, and you cannot cancel them for their body of work. You could cancel them for all the other personal stuff that they do and all that there, but you cannot cancel them for their body of work. You're trying to, and let me say this, and I know a lot of people don't like when I say this, but this is the God honest truth. I will talk about Hulk Hogan's situation in a minute. Bill Cosby, his body of work as an actor and as an activist and things like that should never be erased. The reason why they erased the Cosby Show, because they thought he was a predator. It was not because of the show, because the show's success was one of the greatest shows of all time, because everybody watched the Cosby Show. Bill Cosby gave a lot of people a chance to make money. He made money in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s and the 90s with these shows. Bill Cosby is the reason why Dougie Doug, After Where I Live, and playing on Class Act and all that stuff, was irrelevant on television for 3 to 4 years. You cannot erase the body of work that these people did. You can't erase R. Kelly's music. You can cancel it by not listening to it, but it's there. You can't scrub it. You tried to scrub MJ. You can't scrub MJ's music. You tried to scrub Diddy. I know Diddy did a lot of this, that, and the other. But you can't say that the man was not a perfectionist when it came to music, because he gave a lot of people a chance in the music game. I didn't like how the way he pricked them, because he pricked a lot of people out of their money. But other than that, he gave people an opportunity. You can't say, hey, look, this is not what it is and all that there. And that's what's happened to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is still one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's just been scrubbed. He has not been scrubbed. He's just not around. You can't cancel him. You can't cancel the body of work that he's done in WWE. Can't do it. It's like you can't do it with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is going to always be on all the WWE videos. He's going to be all on the WWE Vault videos and things like that. You cannot scrub Vince McMahon from Saturday night's main event and all that. You can't do it. You know, I'm just being honest with you. That's just the thing that It's happening, and it's just a thing that is what it is. It makes a lot of sense, but you can't just erase people's music or create or erase their legacy for what they've done. You can have your opinions about it, but you can't scrub them. You can try, but it's not going to happen. You can try to cost people all that money all you want. You can try to hurt people pockets, and that's the way that they're doing it now. They're trying to hurt their pockets, but you can't erase what they've already done in it because it's history. It's already in the past. Now, what they're doing to Cosby is messed up because the Cosby Show, despite what he may have done off the show, his show was a success. For you to sit there and just scrub him all the way, his show, where you don't want it, where it can't be played anywhere, but people still can get the Cosby Show. They just might have to get it off of Amazon or something. It's just crazy, man. Let me tell y'all something. We all make mistakes. We all have untruths in our lives. We all have brushed some things to the side and things like that. But that does not mean that we're not a good person. That does not mean that we're out to kill, steal, and destroy somebody. I'm not with that. I know I make mistakes. I'm being accountable for my mistakes. In fact, this is and then I'll get back to wrestling. But let me say this. Past weekend, I made a huge mistake. I said something and did something to somebody, not no over the wall stuff. I said that I didn't do something, and I done it. I told a lie. I told a lie, and I'm sorry for what I did. I didn't want to hurt the person, but I did. And I'm being accountable for what I did. I just want to try to be a better person. That's all I can do. Just try to be better by them and by me. That's all I can do. Side note, anyway, let's get back to wrestling. Karrion Kross needs to beat Sami Zayn, but I think Sami Zayn might win that match at SummerSlam because I think that Sami Zayn could possibly be getting a heel turn soon because it looks like eventually he's gonna get tired of coming up short. And I think if he turns heel, he may have a chance to be a world champion. That's the way that I see it now. Now I'll tell you what, if he was to win the world title as a babyface, that would be one of the greatest nights in wrestling history because everybody would want to see that happen for Sami. But I think Sami should go to SmackDown. If I'm in the draft, I'm drafting him to SmackDown. Or I would draft him to NXT and let him challenge Obafemi and be the one to defeat Obafemi to win the NXT title. Because guess what? Even if he won that title, and if he was a good guy, that would be one of the greatest stories of all. Him to be the two-time NXT champion. They did it with Charlotte Flair. They did it with Becky Lynch. Even though he's probably not going to be champion that long, Becky Lynch was champion for 40 days? And that's crazy. She had over a 40-day run as the NXT champion, and Jey Uso only had 28 days as the Intercontinental champion. Ain't that something? That's crazy, ain't it? See the difference? But I'm not going to talk about that right now. But I think that match there needs to be won by Sami Zayn. Now, if Karrion Kross wins the match, then where does that build him up? He has not re-signed with WWE yet. I think he will, unless AEW or TNA is promising him a shot at a world title. Then if I'm Karrion Kross, I re-sign with WWE. Thing about it is, he's only been hot when he was in NXT. When he was in NXT, nobody could stop him. He was one of the big man on campus there. Him and Scarlett was running around. This guy, Karen Cross, was laying them down in NXT. Should he go back there if he decides to resign? Maybe. Maybe that new refresh in NXT may help him. I'm just saying, man. It would be interesting to see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair win the tag team titles, which I think they can win. I don't know if they're going to pull the plug on Judgment Day just yet. I think that they will. They could possibly do it because everybody's going to want to see a fun tag team like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I think that will happen. I think that having them go from SmackDown to Raw to NXT defending those tag team titles would fit the bill, and it would give Charlotte Flair a chance to be in a tag team division again, although she was a tag team champion with Asuka as well as Alexa Bliss. Who else is on the card to wrestle? Fatu and Solo. That's a toss-up, man. I don't know if Fatu should win the U.S. title back just yet. They are trying to market him as a big name, so him having the U.S. title would fit the bill. I think, Solo could bounce back because Solo's a great buffer in the business. I think that's what could possibly happen with him. And so I just want to see what can happen in that cage match with them. Great match. If Becky loses the IC title, it's no big deal to me. I think Lyra should win, but maybe not. Maybe Bayley turns on her and Becky stays champion and Bayley and Becky reunite and become a team and stuff like that. That would be great to see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus Becky and Bayley. That would be great if that was to happen. It's crazy, man. This is getting interesting with WWE as SummerSlam is kicking around and starting to get better. Also, ladies and gentlemen, who else is there? Of course, Randy Orton, Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul and Drew. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew and them won that match, but I think Jelly and Randy will probably win that match. I think Randy's going to be trying to get back in the title hunt soon, especially if Cody beats John, who I think John Cena. And I don't know. I know a lot of people don't want to agree with me on this, but I think John Cena should win at SummerSlam. I think he should retain the title at SummerSlam. I think they should make Cody Rhodes a heel because that's exactly what's ended up happening, because slowly but surely he's doing heelish tactics. So I think you make him a heel. That's just my thoughts on my prerogative. Just my thoughts on it. Have a heel Cody. See what he can do. Because his babyface, let me tell y'all something about Cody Rhodes. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. As good as Cody is for the kids, guess what Cody's doing? Cody's not being the babyface for the adults. He's being he's having heel tendencies, so why not make him a heel? If I'm WWE, I'm making him heel soon. Especially if he does not win the title. If he does not win that title back at SummerSlam, he's not going to be he's going to be a heel. Because he's going to blame himself, and then he's going to be thinking about what people say, and then you're going to see him try to catch somebody down bad who's good, and he's going to try to heel on them. And that's just my thoughts on that as well. Okay. Let's talk about the people who I think are not going to have. Oh, and the tag team title match. I think the Wyatt Six will win that TLC match, and I think they're going to have one on Raw tonight for the Judgment Day titles as well. Hopefully, we'll see who wins that as well. Switching gears, and let's talk about who I think is not on the card. And the number one guy is LA Knight. Last year, LA Knight was in a huge match to become the United States champion when he beat Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Why is WWE not having him in a match this year? Why Sheamus is not in the match? Sheamus is going to be probably at the match at the Clash in Paris against Rusev. I don't know why LA Knight is not in a SummerSlam match. This is ridiculous. You've got one of the biggest stars in the business that's over, and you don't have him in a match at SummerSlam? You have got to be kidding me. This guy just beat Seth Rollins last month. Earlier in the month, excuse me. And you mean to tell me you don't have him in a title match or even in a match at SummerSlam in a 2-night program? You have no room for LA Knight. You don't have no room for Damian Priest. Damian Priest is going to be in a preliminary, however you say it, a pre-match on Friday Night SmackDown before Saturday Night SummerSlam, which means Damian Priest is going to be fighting against Aleister Black on Friday Night SmackDown, which clearly that match should have been a SummerSlam matchup. And I'll tell you something else that's disgusting. Because last year, Damian Priest was in a world title match. He was the world champion going up against Gunther, because Gunther won the King of the Ring last year. And here it is again. The year that went by, and Damian Priest has not had any type of title matches except for one not Drew McIntyre, but in a triple threat against Gunther. That's it. The man has not been in any other title match except the match against Jacob Fatu in the Fatal 4-Way. He's been fighting Drew McIntyre most of the year, and now you go to this and you say, "Oh, I don't have nothing for you." Come on, guys. This guy just got a key to the city of New York. And you mean to tell me he does not have a match at SummerSlam? Come on, man. Come on, this is crazy. Then I think about this too, ladies and gentlemen. The Women's United States title is going to be defended on Friday Night SmackDown before SummerSlam, which should have been a SummerSlam match between Julia and Selena Vega. They're going to fight on the SmackDown before SummerSlam. Are you kidding me? Really? That's what you think about them? Man, that's crazy, man. And everybody knows Julia's going to win the match because Julia's going to retain because they see more in her now. Zelina had a great situation with that title. But they changed that title faster than they changed the Intercontinental Women's title. But this is what I'm saying, folks. If I was booking the show, every champion and every superstar that I see on the show each week would have a match. Carmelo Hayes don't have a match. I think he has one on SmackDown. He doesn't have a SummerSlam match. You know, I don't think Penta has a SummerSlam match. LA Knight does not have a SummerSlam match. This is crazy, man. Now, a few weeks ago, these guys were on Raw competing to figure out who was going to fight against Gunther for the world title. And now they don't have a match. This is crazy, man. What is WWE thinking? The thing and I'm gonna say this, I don't like AEW like that, but what I do like about them, they do use all their superstars if they can. Because I told you all, their first match has to be a top 10 match to even compete with WWE. That's simple. And speaking of AEW, there's one segment I do want to talk about on there. Man, when Athena and Toni Storm fight for that title, oh my God, that's going to be one of the greatest matches they got, man. Mercedes Moné, who, congratulations, won 2 more titles. So she has 8 titles now. But when her and Toni Storm had that match last weekend, they tore the house down, man. They tore the house down, man. That week they were competing with WWE. They tore the house down, bruh. Just as well as what TNA did last weekend as well. They tore the house down with their matches. But this was absolutely a great match between Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm. And guys, also, go back to the timelines or just go on YouTube. Type in Mercedes Moné versus Athena. That was a great match as well on TV. They gave that match away on TV. That should have been a pay-per-view match. But I guess they wanted to see how the fans would feel having that match on regular television before they tried to make it a pay-per-view match in the future. Or they might have it again on another televised AEW programming. Who knows? But back to WWE. It's a lot of guys that are not getting no matches, man. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You're making the Raw, the SmackDown Women's US Champion defend her title on the SmackDown before SummerSlam. That's crazy. I think tonight we're going to see the LWO versus the Judgment Day. I think that match is either tonight or they're going to add to that match at SummerSlam. I think that's going to be a match at SummerSlam. I don't think they're going to add too many more matches because LA Knight could have been a referee, a special guest referee in a match. They should have put him in something. But it looks like he's going to be off for that weekend. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. LA Knight's not going to even have a match unless he's injured that we don't know nothing about, but who knows? That's basically all I got right now for wrestling. You guys enjoy Raw tonight on Netflix as it comes on at 7 o'clock tonight. Okay, switching gears, let's talk about the WNBA for a second, and then I'll get out your hairs. So, ladies and gentlemen, both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese both are injured. I think Caitlin Clark will be back soon. I think she tore her groin, and I think Angel Reese has a leg injury or something like that. I don't remember what it is. But I'm here to tell you guys this. The two hottest commodities in the WNBA right now is Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, when she does come back, she's going to be ready to ball out and play lights out. When Angel Reese comes back, Angel Reese is going to be ready to be a rebounding queen. She's the female version of Dennis Rodman. I don't care what anybody tells you. She is the Dennis Rodman of the WNBA. And let me tell you something. There were some great rebounders in the NBA. Guys like Dennis Rodman. Guys like Charles Barkley. Chuck, with all due respect, I love Chuck. Chuck's one of my favorite players. I even got 2 of his Phoenix Suns jerseys. I'm looking to get a Philadelphia 76ers Charles Barkley jersey from back in the 90s. And I'm going to probably end up getting it. But anyway, you go back to the days of when rebounding was Ben Wallace was a great rebounder. Shaq was a great rebounder. David Robinson, they would get the ball off the rim. But what Angel Reese is doing, this girl is a double-double almost every time she plays. She's going to get 10 points and get 10 rebounds. Most of the time she goes over and gets 12, 13, 14, 15. One game she had, 17 rebounds? They need to give that girl her props and stop hating on that young girl. That young beauty queen, and yes, she is a queen, that young beauty queen is proving to everybody that she deserves to be in the WNBA. I don't care what anybody tells you. She deserves to be there. You've got great rebounders in that thing. Asia Wilson is an absolute monster with the rebounds because she's guaranteed to give you 10 a night. Collier, the little sweetheart from Minnesota, she's going to get you some rebounds. Jonquel Jones from New York, man, there are so many great rebounders in the game, but Angel Reese tops them all because Angel Reese is going to get 10 or 11 rebounds a night, and I think she leads the WNBA in rebounding. You guys got to stop throwing dirt on this girl's name, man. This girl has proven to everybody that she deserves to be in the W. Let us stop that. Let us quit. And I'm not criticizing her because I've never criticized her because I think she's one of the best at what she does. Her and Caitlin game is different. Caitlin is a 3-point pass, shoot, assist. She's a shooter, a passer, and a great 3-point shooter. She's all of that. Angel Reese is a scorer and a rebounder. And now she's been underrated for this, but she's also a great assist passer. Because Angel Reese can get you 3 or 4 assists a night. I'm just telling you, man. But Caitlin Clark is good at what she does. And Angel Reese is good at what she does. So let's stop talking about, let's just stop throwing dirt on their names. They do what they do, man. They're great. They're great players. And they're proving that. Eventually, one or both are going to end up a WNBA champion. And I think Caitlin Clark will probably win that ring before Angel Reese does. But I'll tell you this, I think Angel Reese, if she gets the help that she needs, some more shooting. I'm not saying that what they got is not shooting, but if she had another elite player with her, somebody like a Hemby or somebody like a Kelsey Plum or somebody like a who else is a threat? Skylar Diggins or somebody like that to go along with Angel Reese in Chicago and Cardoso, man, they would be champions because they need shooting. The problem with the Chicago Sky is the shooting. It's not the defense because Angel Reese plays defense. Cardoso gets rebounds along with Angel Reese. It ain't that. It's just that their team is not mixing. And I still think if they would have kept Teaspoon there to develop Angel Reese just a little bit more, then they would not be having that dry season and that bad season that they're having this year. That's the reason why they're doing it. They let Teaspoon go. Teaspoon knew how to talk to Angel Reese. Teaspoon knew how to work with Cardoso. But you let her go after one season with Angel Reese. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy, bro. It's just, it's tough. Tough to see, tough to hear, tough to watch them because they play their hearts out, but they're probably not going to make the playoffs. And that's going to be tough. I think Indiana will be back in the playoffs, and I think Angel Reese and them are going to be sitting at home. I think that's what's going to happen, folks. I don't want to say it, but I think that's what's going to happen. But we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, some outtakes that I didn't talk about. Here's one. There's a rumor going around that the New Orleans Pelicans could be relocating to Seattle. The Seattle Sonics, who were in the NBA until 2008 or 9 or something like that, when OKC came in. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. I think James Harden was on that team, or he might have just came when they first became OKC. But anywho, Seattle could be relocating New Orleans. The Pelicans could be going to Seattle. Let me say this. My boy Fadeaway, shout out to him. He doesn't like this. Because at one time, Seattle was one of his favorite teams. He liked it, Kemp, and he liked the GP and Shrimp and Hershey Hawkins and all those boys. He does not like that the Pelicans could be losing a team. And I still do think that the NBA is sponsoring them, kind of. I think so. I know Joe Dumars is in charge there. And it's good to see Joe Dumars back in Louisiana. But he's got to, if I'm him, I'm telling him, hey, man, look, don't relocate this team, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. That was a rumor. That's a rumor that was being talked about. I'm hoping that Seattle can just get their own expansion team and not make the Pelicans relocate. Because that's going to be hard on especially us, the Louisiana fans, because we have an NBA team here in Louisiana. And if we don't have now, then what's going to happen? And let me also talk about something else here, which is really irking my nerves. Ladies and gentlemen, do you all remember earlier this year? This was before Rock. I think this was before Rock and John made the deal to be a part. No, this was during the time that Rock was popping up on Netflix, NXT, SmackDown. I think that's a week after or something like that, before the Elimination Chamber or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Let me talk about something that I have not talked about, and I hate that it happened. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Rock got on television, and Rock made the announcement coming out to Lil Wayne, Block is Hot, and all that there, and told everybody when SmackDown was in New Orleans that New Orleans was going to host next year's WrestleMania. Well, guess what happened? The board of directors decided to take the WrestleMania venue for next year and move it back to Las Vegas, which I have no problem with Las Vegas getting it, but why it could not be in New Orleans? Why is New Orleans getting raped? Yeah, I'm going to say the word, I hate to say it, out of chances to make billions of dollars down there. They just had the Super Bowl down there. They just had the Super Bowl in New Orleans. They just got the Tubi, Fox and Tubi television deal to even broadcast the Super Bowl. And now you're telling me, despite all of that, we don't even have a WrestleMania for next year? Because, man, I was trying to find out how much the tickets were, because me and some of my partners were going to go down there to watch WrestleMania in New Orleans. And the situation is not going to happen. Maybe it'll happen the next year after. I don't know. I don't know where WrestleMania is going to be in 2027. But I know in 2026, it was originally supposed to be in New Orleans. But because of politics, which I think it was, it's going to be back in Las Vegas. Now, I have no problem with Las Vegas at all. I think Las Vegas is a great city. But, man, come on. This is what you do? What you got going on? You strip the folks of Louisiana of WrestleMania after having one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. Kendrick Lamar outsold Michael Jackson in views and stuff like that. Man, come on, man. You gotta be kidding me. This is crazy. And I have not said nothing about it because we knew about this for like 5 months now. We're in the 7th month of the year. About 3-4 months ago, about 3 months ago they said this. We're almost in August, and this happened. I think this happened in like late May, something like this. For them to say that, oh, well, we're going to change the venue and we're going to have WrestleMania in Las Vegas instead of New Orleans. It's a prick show. That's what I think it is. I could be wrong. I know the money's going to come in because everybody's going to be at the casinos gambling, making money, feeding the money to the casino. So the casino's going to get the money. Plus the venue's going to get the money. Plus the superstars are going to get paid. This is absolutely crazy. You just had one of the greatest pay-per-views in WrestleMania history in that city of Las Vegas. Why come back when you promised the people, the Southern folks, that we're going to have a WrestleMania? And now we don't. I don't know what to say. I just know that it was grade A robbery why they did it. And I don't really know why they did it. Maybe it was because of economic situation, or maybe because somebody threw more money out than the Mercedes-Benz people in New Orleans. I don't know. It hurts because I was intending on getting some WrestleMania tickets to go to New Orleans. It ain't gonna happen now. And I'm also noticing that the live events, are coming back to the WWE. The WWE had not had too many live event house shows. They didn't have too many house shows this year. Now all of a sudden they're starting to have them back. I wonder, because they just added 13 new events. I wonder if Alexandria or Shreveport is going to get a venue or going to get a live event, because usually WWE comes around once a year. WWE came around last year. They didn't go to Shreveport, but they went to Alexandria. AEW went to Shreveport. I'm trying to figure out why AEW has not came back to Shreveport yet. I'm just trying to figure that out because I enjoyed myself going to that show, and I enjoyed myself going to the show in Alexandria. Hopefully, we can get it. Here's another thing that I hope that they do. I would love for TNA to have what's the name of the show? Impact. Have a Impact live show in Shreveport or Alexandria. Who would not want to see the Hardy Boys wrestle in Louisiana? That'd be great. Absolutely great for the business. Maybe we'll get it one day. Hopefully. But until then, God bless you guys. God keep you. I love all y'all. Please pray for me. I'm only human. Yes, I make mistakes. Yes, I make errors. I'm just trying to be a better person. You guys enjoy Monday Night Raw tonight on Netflix. Enjoy baseball. I think WNBA comes on tonight. They may skip it and then have another one on Tuesday. They may come on tonight. I don't know. I haven't checked it. But enjoy your sports tonight, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. God keep you. And this has been A Point of View.